On this episode of Africa Sport Report, we travel to Uganda for the Pearl of Africa Rally. We follow two Botswana athletes in the race to Stanford Triathlon and join the kids of Nairobi at the Faces Sports Academy. The Surf's Up in Senegal in our travel insert of Western Africa, and the Berg River Canoe Marathon is proving to be tougher than anticipated. For our Sporting Code report, we focus on the growth of rugby in Ghana. Kabaddi is the sport of choice for many Kenyans looking to work up a sweat. So sit back and enjoy our show packed with real African sport. Uganda played host to the fifth round of the FIA Africa Rally Championship of 2018 with the Shell V-Power Pearl of Africa Uganda Rally. Before the 2 days of racing commenced, scrutineering was done on the Thursday at the local Shell service station. Scrutineering is important to ensure that all the vehicles participating in the race meet the technical regulations of the race. An early rise on the Friday morning heralded the start of day one. After a ceremonial start at the Silver Springs Hotel on the eastern edge of Kampala City, the cars headed to Uganda Motorsport Arena, Busika, where the first competitive stage was run in the afternoon. The 3-day rally covered a total length of approximately 508 kilometers, of which 292 was competitive. This event is best known for testing all 5 human senses, and I can promise you it lived up to competitors' expectations and even more. Stories of the awesome fans have been told around the world, and it is that, together with an amazingly hospitable people, tasty cuisines, and beautiful countryside, that makes Uganda a choice destination for any passionate motorsport enthusiast. Motorsport in Uganda can be traced to the 1950s when Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania jointly ran the East African Safari Rally. As has always been a known fact, the rally derives its name from Sir Winston Churchill, who declared Uganda the Pearl of Africa in 1907. After an overnight rest at the Silver Springs Hotel, the cars headed 900 kilometers east of the capital Kampala to Kayunga to start day 2. The rally ran on gravel roads in the private sugarcane plantations 90 kilometers east of Kampala, around the town of Kayunga. There were a total of 8 competitive sections, which were rerun over the course of the rally, the longest of which was 31.29 kilometers and the shortest 6 kilometers. Dry and dusty conditions might have made it tough on the racers, but it could not deter the passionate fans from attending the rally in hordes. For the eager crowd, it is a must to go and cheer on your favorite team. Leading the pack was the Kenyan rally crew of Manvir Baryan and Rooster Rock, making it Manvir's second consecutive win. The winners celebrate their victory with a bit of champagne, bringing the very successful 2018 event to a close.
Abasigadde bali ku byabo abantu twongedde okubategeeza nti ttiimu Pilipili fe tusobola okugoba bano bafolina era tujja kubagoba ebbanga lyonna.
See you next year at the Pearl of Africa Uganda Rally. The picturesque harbour town of Hermanus in South Africa hosted what some athletes call the most beautiful triathlon on earth, the Race to Stanford. The new breathtaking half-Ironman distance triathlon with a route to the historical town of Stanford. The 2018 event started with a 1.9 kilometer open water sea swim, where competitors had to cover 2 laps around floating buoys in the crystal clear water. The cycle part of the event was a single 90-kilometer circular route from Hermanus, with tough ascents over Shaw's Pass, opening up to the flatter part of the route, where wheat fields made way for stunning wineries. Once in the small historic settlement of Stanford, the race entered the last segment of the competition, with a 21.1-kilometer half-marathon course taking the athletes on trails in and around town. After 5 hours of racing, Botswana athletes Jimmy Bonjesi and Thembile Ncebe managed to secure a 2nd and 5th place finish respectively, a great achievement among some of the elite athletes from all over Africa. Nigeria's Victor Moses has announced his retirement from international football at the age of 27. The Chelsea winger played 37 times for his country, scoring 12 times since making his debut in 2012. Kenyan athlete Eliud Kipchoge raced to gold in the 2018 London Marathon held on Sunday, beating out the competition from Ethiopia's Tola Kitata and UK's Mo Farah, who finished 2nd and 3rd respectively. Zimbabwe Cricket has named 2 15-man squads, including most of their national players, to feature in a 3-team 20-over tournament, including Kenya, as part of the build-up to next month's T20 Triangular Series being played in Harare. The 16th edition of Basketball Without Borders Africa was launched in Johannesburg, South Africa last Wednesday. The NBA is hoping to give African players the opportunity to play the big leagues. More real African sport news next week on the show.
This academy has been in existence since 2018 January, but at the back of my mind I've been having this dream, this ambition from 2015 when I met some kids from the slums who come from very poor backgrounds, and they couldn't pay the fees that could enable them to register in the already established academies in Nairobi. The main thing that the kids get from Faces is sport training, the soccer part, but I offer a life skill coaching program whereby we talk to the kids, we visit them at their homes, we monitor their everyday lives, and which I think is the most important part of this academy, because we engage those kids in frequent visits, talks, to monitor their daily lives. We try to shape their core moral values, and at the end of the day, many of them won't make it professional in soccer, which is the harsh reality, but all of them have the chance to have a life, to live purposefully, to find the meaning of their lives, to explore their talents and make a difference with everything that surrounds them. They need to be people of good moral conduct, good moral values, and that's what it's my greatest dream. The aim of this academy is to specialize not only in soccer, but I want to delve into education. I want to delve into different sports programs. For example, athletics is very popular here. Rugby, it's very popular here in Kenya. You can see the rugby sevens team from Kenya doing very well in the IRB series. So my aim is to incorporate all these sports, go back into the community, set up the Faces Foundation, whereby the Faces Foundation will incorporate the Faces Sports Academy, the Faces Educational Program, the Faces Hygiene and Sanitation Program, and all that. This academy stands for discipline, it stands for hard work, it stands for cooperation, of which the kids need to know how to cooperate with each other, coexistence, they need to know how to coexist with each other, and we aim to create someone who will go out there and be a role model to those kids who are in some other teams, who are not at Faces right now. From the name, you can hear the word Faces. The Faces are the faces of hard work, the faces of encouragement, the faces of inspiration, the faces of everything good that's out there in this world. And for those kids, they are the faces of this program. Faces Sports Academy is not Coach Kevin's, it's not mine at all, it's for these kids, because If it's mine, it means that if tomorrow I fall sick, if tomorrow something happens to me, Faces will also suffer. But it won't suffer because it's for these kids. These kids are the ones who own Faces Sports Academy. I'm just trying to direct them to what they like. But it's for them, the community, their families, their parents. Their parents also play a key role in Faces Sports Academy, because without their permission, these kids won't be here. Without them, they won't call me and tell me, hey, coach, try to talk to this boy. Try to mentor him. Try to do something for them. So they are the key participants in Faces Sports Academy. They are the key shareholders in Sports Academy alongside their children. Soccer is really growing in Kenya, and it's the most popular sport in the world. That's no difference in Kenya. And it's a really great sport. Fun, enjoyable, and exciting, full of emotions, passion. And we have a player right now playing in the English Premier League. His brother also won the Champions League with Inter Milan, and I believe their achievements really exposed soccer to many kids, to many parents, to see soccer as something that pays, something that can sustain you in this life. That's the reason why I chose soccer to be the main thing at Faces Soccer Academy, to try and bring the kids together, to try and get them, to try and know them. Faces is trying to pioneer a change in the slums. Those kids in the slums, they are talented. And I'm not just saying this. If you spend a day in the slum, you'll see a lot of things. You'll see talent. You'll see ability. Someone from the slums rises up and takes a good advantage of it in a positive way. Give these kids the platform. Their parents can't pay for proper training. Parents can't get them quality stuff for training through me and my coaches. We are paying school fees for 2 boys right now from our pockets. But if you can try, set up something and give them the hope, at least you give them the hope that someday their talent will pay them.
In our weekly quiz, we want to know, what was the total gold medal count for Africa in the 2016 Summer Olympics in Rio? Our traveling surf reporter, Ishmael Ben Lamli, from Morocco, recently traveled to Senegal to surf his favorite hotspots of this West African country. Chances are you've dreamed of packing your boards, saying adios to the 9-to-5 life at least once, thanks to the famed movie The Endless Summer by Bruce Brown. That vision of surfing in Africa stayed with Ishmael until he found himself paddling out to the same lineup. The break receives north swells head-on, making the wave strong and powerful. The reef gets sketchy at low tide with the infamous boulders, Papi and Mami, exposing themselves exactly where you're about to take off. Local surfers will sport their scars from the 2 unforgiving rocks 1 minute, then remind you of their grandfathers recalling August and his buddies ripping it up the next. Thanks to its location on the Cabo Verde Peninsula, the Dakar area is exposed to both southern and northern hemiswells. It's pretty safe to say you will get some waves, big or small, 365 days of the year. When Ngor Right is pumping, you probably won't need to venture far. The safest bet is to shack up at the Ngor Island Surf Camp, so you can roll out of bed and straight into the water. The southern coast of Dakar, Les Almadies, is spotted with numerous reef breaks and consistent offshore conditions. Secret, sandwiched between Le Vivier and Club Med, is probably the most popular, with front row seats to the action in the water. Slightly less intimidating, it offers up a fast right and a left. And today, it is a busy break and hangout spot for locals, expats, and visitors alike. During Ishmael's visit, Ngor was hit with a double overhead swell, so he packed into a bus and headed south to a tiny fishing village. Village children loved it and hung out with him in between sessions. The local surfers talk about how different the Ngor Right was back when Robert August and his mates hit it. They say there are a lot more rocks today than before. You'd think it's Mother Nature doing her thing, but it's not. The last few years have seen terror storm through West Africa, causing many to shy away. But where there is ocean, surfers will go. Senegal, however, is one of the most stable, trouble-free and forward-thinking countries of West Africa. The fishing villages of Senegal are rich in clean air and simple happiness. So if surfing is your thing, pack your board and head off to Senegal, because this is African surfing at its best. The 2018 Berg River Canoe Marathon took place in the beautiful Western Cape province of South Africa. As the 57th edition of the Berg River Canoe Marathon dawned, organizers, paddlers, and supporters were very excited by the new team format that was adopted for the 4-day odyssey from Paarl to Veldrif. 2018 also saw the event do away with the pre-race time trial, which means that the race started in Paarl in front of large crowds gathered on the Market Road Bridge in the Winelands town, cheering on their local heroes. As a team rowing event, the top paddlers had a different technical approach. It was very interesting to see how they managed this new dynamic form of multi-stage canoeing events. The rest of the field enjoyed the camaraderie of a partner who worked together through the difficult, challenging sections of the river, but especially had to support one another on the long, flat pools on the last 2 days. The age group titles were never in doubt throughout, with Change a Life Capensis, Mthobisi Sele and Mpilo Zondi taking home the under-23 crown with a great time of 18 hours and 20 minutes and securing a very respectable top 10 overall finish. The growth of rugby in Ghana sparked an interest with African Sport Report, and we decided to investigate.
I'm Herbert Mensah. I'm the president of Ghana Rugby. I'm 57 this year. I came to the United Kingdom in 1966 odd. Played rugby for school, played county rugby, played for Sussex. I then got transferred to Zimbabwe, and I played rugby there for Mashonaland and for Old Hererians. My one international I ever played was for OH against Italy. I had the pleasure of scoring the winning try. Then I came back and played for Saracens, and we won the London Merit Table. Last game of rugby, damaged my knee in that game, and then came back home. I got involved with Ghana Rugby a few years ago. The objective was to take it from what is a very poor pub rugby type of rugby into something far more serious, bearing in mind that we're not a rugby playing nation, and therefore most people didn't start playing as kids, they started playing in their late teens. And we decided to do this two ways. One, in terms of off-field compliance, following what a global standard is required, which we've done very quickly. And secondly, on the field, which is now getting them very down to basics and getting people involved in the game.
The guys here, they're just soccer mentality. You know, this nation is occupied more by soccer rather than rugby. So it was something new being introduced, so we had to bring in a new culture. The level of rugby in the guys, they could do a lot of things, but it seems like there wasn't much in terms of guidance, in terms of coaching. So when I came in, the biggest challenge was to bring in the rugby culture into the guys.
So how do you improve? How do you get better? We just try to say, what is good for WASPs or SARIs or RFU? Why can't we try and do the same here? So we basically put in the same system that works elsewhere. And we're now full rugby members in under 3 years. We've won the first tournament against our Francophone neighbours, which has not been done. So quite a lot in a short period of time.
The progress has been very fast. You can see a huge change in terms of rugby fundamentals in Ghana. So I've seen a lot of development in the guys in that way. Yeah.
there's a complete change in the way that we play rugby. The fact that we've got a professional 10-team league, which should be expanded, I think, this year, next year, to 12 or 14 teams. Expansion in the regions. It's not just Cape Coast and Accra now. We have it in the mountains being played. We got Volta region coming on board. We have a group of people trying to develop it in the north. And the schools project is going well. And we're getting more and more young people to get involved in the process.
Yes. Grounded, also now you're grounded, you're trying to look at the target wherever you want her to receive the ball. Now, Sandra is coming. Sandra, wait on Sandra. Sandra is coming. I'm here. Sandra is watching me from this angle. You see, she's giving it to me directly. Not that she's throwing to somebody else, because she knows I'm the one receiving. Okay? Make sure you don't drop the ball. Don't drop your baby on the floor. Nice one, Umu.
Back when I started playing, there were a lot of challenges. We didn't have access to the stadium most of the time, so it was very challenging. But looking at it from the last 4 years, I think a lot of things have changed. You know, we now have more media exposure. People sending emails, they want to play rugby, more people getting involved. So the general atmosphere, you walk in town and people say, I saw you on TV, you play rugby. You know, so that kind of feeling, you know, it's something that's very, very positive in the face of rugby.
To become part of World Rugby, massive. It's symbolizing acceptance of family, it symbolizes professionalism, it sends out a message to corporate sponsors that, look, we're not just pub players, you know, you get involved with us. There will be, you know, brand affiliation and the rest of it going out. Corporate social responsibility. The government will see, other people will see that you are doing your bit back in for the community. So being part of World Rugby, I think, is a big status symbol. It's something that signifies that you've arrived and you've been accepted and you're doing things in the right way.
We asked you, what was the total gold medal count for Africa in the 2016 Summer Olympics in Rio? And the answer is 10 gold medals in total, with Wade van Niekerk's gold medal being the highlight, as he set a world record time in the 400 meter for men.
We are at Kasarani Stadium, where Kenya Kabaddi Union do our trainings. Kabaddi is a martial art, played by 7-a-side. The game lasts for 45 minutes, 20 and 5 minutes rest. The rules is just like when playing the pitch, no talking. The only person who is allowed to talk is the captain. I don't talk back to the referee, you don't talk back to like a player. It's played with 7 people in the court. When you are caught in other people's court, you go out. When a raider gets into another person's court and catch someone and come back to your court successfully, you score a point. And wherever you got in contact with gets out. When a raider gets to another court, you have to count. Kabaddi, kabaddi, kabaddi. Even during struggle, you're not supposed to lose count. You're not even supposed to like even lick your lips or even breathe in. That's when you've lost the count. So you just keep on saying kabaddi, 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 kabaddi for 30 seconds without holding breath for 30 seconds till you cross and score. So if you don't do that, then you lose the point. So you can only talk to your captain, to the referee. The sport started way back in India, a long time ago, 100 years back. Asian countries are doing very good in this sport because in India, this was a traditional sport. They were used to play it like just the way people play Icho in Kenya. So it's a traditional game that everybody has to pass through. So this game was introduced to Kenya in 2014 by me after watching it on YouTube, being also a rugby player. So I was going to watch a rugby game. Then I found Kabaddi also on YouTube, then watched it. I thought of another Kenyan who has no sport to play, who had never presented the country in another sport. So I say, okay, if I introduce this sport, other Kenyans will have a sport to play. And also Kenya can also get a gold in this sport. Even now, support from the government, we appreciate. That's why you see we are training in a government facilities. And even the team, when the team was going to Dubai, it was funded with the government. And now they've even seen this sport can also make Kenya get a goal. The other day, the minister addressed that the Kabaddi sport can make Kenya get a gold. The government now, the ministry, they're ready to invest in the sport. Even right now, we are going to host African Kabaddi World Cup qualifier that is going to be hosted in Kasarani, and you're working with the ministry hand in hand. People love this sport very much because the sport is easy, very cheap. You don't need too much to play Kabaddi. You just need to be fit. It's a very, very easy game to learn. Kabaddi has now grown. We are in colleges and some schools. So hopefully, we are now going to launch our league this year, first Kabaddi league in Kenya. We right now we're investing in young people. We have our junior team. We have under 10, we have under 14 and under 19 team. So we have like a future team. So that is the way the sport can grow, because when the sport is played with the juniors, then the sport has a future.
So what's up next week on Africa Sport Report? We travel to southern Africa to visit the beautiful desert landscape of Namibia for the National Long Range Rifle Championships. The youngsters from a local ice skating club in Nairobi show off their ice hockey skills under their new coaching system. And we join a mountain bike adventurer on his quest to ride his fat bike the full length of the Mozambique coastline as part of the Solo Fat Bike Challenge. The Lake of Stars, or better known as Lake Malawi, plays host to the 2018 Malawi Hobie Cat Sailing Marathon, and we were there. With a trip down south, we touch base with Lesotho Motagai from Lesotho, showcasing his latest tricks with a soccer ball. As Africa's top-ranked freestyle soccer professional, we end the show with highlights from the Deutsche Bank 100 Cycle Tour all the way from the tropical island paradise of Mauritius. So join us next week for the latest in real African sport, only on Africa Sport Report.